A few years ago, there's, well, the program's probably still on. I can't watch it because it breaks my heart. What I am pretty sure about is that as a sign that we may have rushed too far, too fast in our headlong plunge into electronic vehicles, the development of one-stop bolt-in powertrain replacements might suggest that the internal combustion engine, at least its hybridized variant, is far from dead. Convert classic cars and put electric engines in them. Don't get me wrong, the engineering is fantastic. From an engineering point of view, I like the program. From a heart point of view, I hate it. To me, it's no better than just stop oil, defacing priceless paintings, destroying works of art. And then, when I was a little bit younger, the price of gold went up and people were melting down artifacts that could never be reproduced to sell the gold. It reminded me of Planet of the Apes. It really did, where they destroy all the books. It's the same thing, in my view. Anyway, this is going back to January 18, 2023. So what's that, 2 3/4 years ago, 2 years, 9 months, however you want to put, or should we put it in percentages? What's that, 300% ago for you EV people? Or 209, whatever it is. Hey Siri, what's 2.9 years as a percentage of 1 year?
Do you want me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
Yes, please.
ChatGPT asks, could you specify the total time frame you'd like to compare 2 years and 9 months to, such as 5 years or 10 years?
1 year.
2 years and 9 months is 275% of 1 year. This is because 2 years and 9 months equals 2.75 years. And 2.75 divide 1. 100% equals 275%. That was from ChatGPT.
Okay, so 275% years ago, just for you EV people who love percentages so much. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist rubbing it in a little bit more and using ChatGPT. So years ago, I could see what was going to happen, and these people that were converting classic cars to electrics just knocked me sick. And there's a tweet here from October the 24th, 2019, almost 6 years ago. If it's electric, it's not a classic, and the owner should be flogged and fined for converting it. It's sacrilege. Another one, May 25th, 2021. I wonder how long it will be before people start converting electric cars to internal combustion engines. August 7th, 2022. I hated Johnny Smith on Fifth Gear, but really like his YouTube channel. I'm trying to find something to like about electric vehicles, and I've been watching him on Fully Charged. I have to say that producing new electric vehicles is okay, but converting classics to electric is a no. I bet the guy with the big sides who converts proper cars to EVs will soon be flat out converting new EVs from the factory into petrol engines so the dealers can actually sell them. That was January the 18th. January 31st, 2023. That's a brilliant idea. I can save them a lot of money. The reason is that they don't want a fucking electric car patronising. What was it? Help middle class drivers make the switch to used EVs, says Auto Trader. Boy, was I right then. So here we go, January 18, 2023. I bet the guy with the big sides who converts proper cars to EVs will soon be flat out converting new EVs from the factory into petrol engines so the dealer can actually sell them. Dr. Andy Pandy, there's a tweet somewhere of him saying that the electric engine on an EV is 40% of the value. So I had this brilliant idea. You go into a dealership, because they're knocking 40% off anyway of new EVs. You tell them to keep the electric engine, and you just take the shell and then put an ICE engine in. And this was ages ago I said this. I can't actually find it. and perhaps I will do by the time I edit this video.
Straight from the godfather of EV's mouth, the price of the battery, and don't forget you've got the engine as well. So what must that make up? 50, 60%, but anyway, we'll work on 40%. So bear with me here, 40% of the cost of a new EV is the battery. You can get 30% plus off the price of a pre-reg delivery mileage EV, which leaves all the good bits costing 30%. So wouldn't it be great if you could tell them to keep the battery too, and they would have to give you 10% of the cost of the car to just take it away. Then with that 10% they pay you, you could get a diesel engine fitted, and you'd have a new car that you actually wanted and not have to part with any cash. To be honest, an unintended consequence of that is you would probably have a brand new car and enough left over from their bung to go on holiday. Simples. Sent a tweet to Jeff Buys Cars. Seems foolproof to me. Fancy a new smoker, Jeff. The bit at the bottom about unintended consequence and going on holiday was kind of a dig at somebody else who'd been tweeting at the time. That was a lady called Jill Nowell, very big into the EV scene with the Fully Charged show, Green Fleet, and also I think she's chairman, or she was chairman, of the EVA. At the time I saw a tweet, that was April the 12th of that year, and it annoyed me so much I was still going on about it in July. But she tweeted, "Free holidays, an unintended consequence of having an electric car." How so? Then a confused face emoji. It's very simple. I've saved thousands of pounds since switching to an EV, and this effectively pays for our summer getaways. A long time ago I used to watch a cowboy program called Alias Smith and Jones, and there was an episode called Smiler with a Gun. Basically the lesson was, just because somebody's smiling, you can't necessarily trust them.
There's one thing we gotta get, Hayes. What's that? Out of this business.
Alias Smith and Jones.
And this was my reply to her. I'm so sorry, you have a lovely smile, but that is just not true, and you are deliberately misleading people to push your EV agenda. Your Kia Niro EV cost new £37,345. Today it has a trade value of £16,400. It's lost an eye-watering £20,945, or 56%. Whereas a Kia Niro 1.6 GDI, same year, same spec, same miles, but petrol hybrid, cost new £28,785. Today its trade value is £18,800. So your EV cost £8,560 more and is now worth £2,400 less. That's £10,960 difference. Even if your electric is free, you could buy 1,461 gallons of petrol, and I'm guessing your car has done about 27,000 miles. So at 60 miles per gallon, it would cost £3,069 to buy 450 gallons. And the owner of the petrol car would still have £7,891 to take his family on holiday without being any worse off than you being sat at home looking out of your window at your heavily depreciating EV. Sorry, no free lunches or holidays for people with EVs. By the way, it doesn't stop there, as EVs are being artificially propped up by the valuation services. We Buy Any Car value it at £13,790, so that would be another £2,610 less, or another holiday that you didn't get free. Hope that helps.
So basically, you go into a showroom, tell them that you don't want the engine and the battery, and then you put an ICE engine in it. And then, what was he called? Moggy. And then Moggy can convert your EV back to an ICE engine. He'd be busier then than he is doing classic cars. So that was my idea. And that, as I say, that's January 18, 2023. We'll soon be flat out converting new EVs from the factory into petrol engines so the dealers can actually sell them. I had to laugh. Driving. Motormouth, how to convert your EV into a hybrid. Thanks to Horse's new briefcase-sized gas engine, pretty much any electric car can be easily turned into a hybrid. Published September the 5th, 2025. Uncertainty. It's the curse of all automotive companies, especially if it's of the regulatory kind. You know, the kind of policy reversal where one government suddenly announces grandiose plans forcing the total conversions to a completely different powertrain, you know, like the ZEV mandate. And then the Reform Party gets in. Your EV's worthless now. Imagine what will happen to its residual value when you don't have to buy one. In the long term, it will be good because only the people who want electric vehicles and whose needs they suit will buy them. So therefore, there won't be as many made. Therefore, they will be introduced by osmosis and gradually grow and become more popular and be improved just like diesels were. That's the way they should have done it in the first place. Left it to the motor trade, not politicians, not that can't even run the country, that can't do the job that they're supposed to be doing and think they can tell the motor trade what to do. Not them. Just for argument's sake, let's say they want all cars to transition to full electric, and then, lo and behold, a different government gets elected and they, again, just for argument's sake, demand automakers ditch all the newfangled nonsense and go back to producing the most fantastically consumptive automobiles ever made. I know it sounds like a stretch, maybe even a bit fantastical, but it could happen, right? Well, it's happened with electrics. Now, as much as you and I know that nothing so silly could ever actually occur, I like this guy, Horse Powertrains, an amalgam of former Geely and Renault engine divisions, thought it might. So the company's prepared an entire line of what-ifs solutions, as in, what happens if you, Mr. Global Automaker, were well on your way to building a battery-powered pickup when suddenly the planning department, for they would be the first people to panic if some new idiot in power decided to throw out the baby with the lithium, comes back and says they absolutely need to be range extended, or worse yet, they need your front-wheel drive electric sport cute. Would that be ute? I'll tell you what, these AI written fucking articles comes back and say they absolutely need it, or worse yet, they need your front-wheel drive electric sport ute to become an all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid. And because you were such a good corporate citizen, you've already ditched your nasty old ICE research and development department. Well, lucky for you, Horse has a ready-made solution, and it got an absolutely grand reception when it was revealed at Germany's annual IAA Mobility Show in Munich earlier this week. I was actually kind of invited to that, but I thought it was a spam email. So I was a bit nasty to them. There you go. There, the company showed off 2 new products, and they're literally the kind of all-encompassing turnkey solutions that I suspect, you know, if the world suddenly went topsy-turvy on battery power, might get many a hard-pressed automaker out of a hole. The first is a briefcase-sized powertrain that includes everything you need to convert any EV, including a 4-cylinder gas engine, its cooling and exhaust system, as well as the generator needed to supply the battery with electricity, into a partially gas-powered extended range electric vehicle. It's so tiny, 500mm by 550mm by 275mm, or 19.7 inches long, 21.7 inches wide, and just 10.8 inches deep. That Horse says it can fit into pretty much any electric vehicle's frunk. But where are you going to put all your luggage? You know, where are you going to put your overnight bag and your toothbrush? You know, that additional cargo space that EV makers bragged about because they were able to dump the gas engine. Horse actually has 2 different versions of its briefcase powertrain available. In naturally aspirated form, for smaller vehicles it can generate up to 70 kilowatts of electricity, about the same just in case all this farcical Trumpian Back to the Future nonsense isn't lost on you, as the second generation Chevrolet Volt. In turbocharged form, it'll pump out 120 kilowatts, just 10 kilowatts shy of the generator in Stellantis's upcoming Ram 1500 Ram Charger Extended Range EREV, Extended Range Electric Vehicle, Worth noting is that the truck uses a Pentastar 3.6 litre V6 to power its generator, an engine that definitely won't fit inside a briefcase. There's a picture of it. I wondered how they were going to fit it in. Certainly of course it's got a transmission and drive. So there you go, there's the drive shafts. Or perhaps that's where they plug in. I don't know whether the engine comes with the drive shafts already or your existing drive shafts, and the adapters in the bottom there, your drive shafts plug into. Horse says the entire kit is designed to meet stringent Euro 7 standards, which means it should be emissions compliant pretty much anywhere, including China and California, and can also be fueled with gasoline, ethanol or methanol, and even synthetic fuels, just in case the panic spreads around the world. Horse also showed off a second product, something it calls a future hybrid concept, which could, says the company, convert any battery electric vehicle into a traditional hybrid, HEV, or even a plug-in version, PHEV, a la Toyota RAV4 Prime. Offered in two variants, the smallest version fits its electric motor between the engine and transmission, like early Honda hybrids and current Hyundai Elantras, dubbed the Ultra Compact, and at just 650 millimeters, barely 2 feet wide, it is designed to fit the uber-confined spaces typical of a BEV platform. A more powerful performance version uses two electric motors, one at the engine output and another on the transmission output shaft, but is only 100 millimeters, 4 inches wider. Both versions use Horse's compact 1.5 litre 4-banger mated to its own hybrid transmission. They also come with a full complement of hybrid electronics and can seamlessly integrate with an EV's DC to DC converter, onboard charger, and there's also an 800 volt charging booster on offer. They're even designed with crash testing performance in mind, with a wider profile at the bottom than at the top. Horse also says it is currently working on a 3-cylinder variant that would be even more compact. Indeed, the most impressive thing about Horse's solutions is that they are already designed to fit into existing battery electric vehicle platforms. The company says its powertrain packages are engineered to retain subsystems packaged in electric-only vehicles, including, says the company, HVAC and PFAS free air conditioning systems. Horse claimed it could convert many BEVs to EREVs and hybrids without modification to subcompartments, costly retooling, or even need to replace existing battery electric vehicle components. It too can run on gasoline, E85, ethanol, M100 methanol and synthetic fuels, which means it could be used anywhere in the world. As we went to press, Reuters was reporting that General Motors was cutting production of a whole slew of electric vehicles, from Cadillacs to Chevys. Like many other automakers taking the same action, the company blames Trump's elimination of incentives as the reason EVs have failed to meet what Reuters calls the bullish forecast put forth just a few years ago. Now, elimination of incentives, if they were as good as petrol, if people wanted them, they wouldn't need incentives. So that's not the reason for them failing. The reason for them failing is people don't want them unless they're way cheaper and a no-brainer. As your heart doesn't, I really want that, look at that Dodge Charger. Listen to it start up. Listen to it go down the street. Let's get the electric one instead, it's cheaper. Nor is North America the only place where the internal combustion engine refuses to die. Even in China, so often touted as the poster child of EV adoption, growth in EREVs and hybrid sales is outpacing pure electrics. Now this chap says, I'm not sure Horse is going to be a roaring success. Indeed, it's difficult to imagine larger legacy automakers not already associated with Geely or Renault looking to outside sources to supply entire powertrains. That said, if EV sales do indeed get tighter, could companies with no ICE experience such as Rivian, Lucid or, God forbid, Tesla suddenly need a ready supply of self-contained hybridized powertrains? Possibly. What I am pretty sure about is that, as a sign that we may have rushed too far, too fast in our headlong plunge into electronic vehicles, the development of one-stop bolt-in powertrain replacements might suggest that the internal combustion engine at least its hybridized variant is far from dead. Reports of my death have been exaggerated. So Muggy, if I were you, I'd be getting in touch with them quick. Could be another string to your bow. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.